Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another exciting episode of the OG of Good Game. On today's episode, mass migration. Blacks migrating from the north to the south. We're going to break down the advantages to that. Let's get into that right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for listening in on the OG of Good Game. I am your host, Zero Game, and I want to give a shout out to everybody who listening. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And for those who listen and don't listen anymore, I appreciate you listening for as long as you did. And if you can't find what you're listening for, come on back. We'd love to have you listen again. All right, everybody. Now I done got the love out the way. Let's get into the subject of today. Subject of today is mass migration. It is a new novel concept that has been floating around, I guess, a little bit. But it actually has some really good merits to it that got people thinking. At least it got me thinking. And hopefully after kicking it a little bit with you, you might be thinking of the same thing too. So the idea, or at least the concept behind it is, now, most African Americans up north are products of mass migration from the South, my parents included. They left the South back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s in massive numbers, in 70s, to get the hell away from Jim Crow. Mainly it was Jim Crow. Now, the work opportunities in the factories that was up here, the auto factories, the steel factories, a lot of those plants needed workers. And they would actually pay somebody to work there. Hey, you got some family down south, they need a job, there's some money, go down there and get them, bring them back. And that practice went on for a good minute. And that's where we got a lot of people, African Americans, that transplanted from the South to the north. And unfortunately, it didn't work out as well for us as it should have. And the reason why I say that is because they sectioned us off and they put us in these little sections, and we got concentrated in these little sections that we were only allowed to live here, or at least they made it so we can only afford to live here. And that kept us concentrated in these areas. And when these plants closed up, a lot of those areas economically got devastated and never recovered from it. Hence the ghettos that we have up north now. Now, I live up north, so I'm seeing it firsthand. What used to be a good neighborhood, plant closed up. Now you don't want to go over there unless you strapped. And I mean seriously strapped, because you may get robbed at gunpoint just walking down the street. But there is a thing that's taking place, and I think people should consider it if you live up north, that mass migration back to the South might be our only opportunity to a few things. Mainly it would shrink the unemployment rate, because we would have more employment. Basically, the unemployment rate in the South is usually lower for African Americans than it is nationwide. And it's almost cut in half the unemployment rate of what it is up north compared to the South. Their rate is half of what it is up here. And a lot of the reasons that is a reality is because you have more black people in the South who start their own business. And because of that, they circulate more black dollars within their community. And having larger African American communities allows you to have a business that can thrive in that community without worrying about, oh, bad times coming, I might need to go up north. So that's driving the financial revolution that's taking place in the South. And as more black people started to migrate back down to the South, we started gaining a little bit more in the political field too, as seen in the recent presidential election, that black people were able to turn Georgia blue. And that fucker been red for quite a long time. And to finally turn that sucker blue, I think they said the last time that state voted Democrat for president was Clinton or Carter. I'm not exactly sure on that one. Google it. Make sure I get the right answer on that one. Yeah, I know I should have did that before I spoke on it, but I ain't got time to do all that shit. Anyway, that is some real serious shit right there. And turn around on a special election, we was able to put 2 Democratic senators into the Senate. Now, if we mass migrated out of this shitty ass northern areas, because these states ain't showing us no love. These projects, these concentrated east side, west side, south side, whatever the fuck area they want to stick us in, there's no real development. There's no employment in the area that we live in. And then they make it so that you have to commute so far out to employment that it actually cuts back on the time that you have to spend working in your own community. I mean, if I got a 2-hour commute just to get to work, then a 2-hour commute just to get home, that's 4 hours out of my day that I could have been doing something in my community, whether volunteering, whether fixing up my own home, my yard, or whatever. And then they make it so that you live in these areas, but you can't buy the houses in this area. They make sure that, you know, it's very difficult for African Americans to get homes. Now, mass migration would solve that problem if we leave these little concentrated ass neighborhoods and go back to the South where we have more open land and area to where we can get employment building the house that I'm going to end up buying and living in. Because now I'm down there, not only am I helping to build mine, I'm building the neighbors. We building up a whole community. That's work. That's good paying money. That's a good paying job. And that's work that does not require you to go to an extensive university or learning center and spend thousands of dollars to learn how to measure wood, cut it, put a hammer or a nail in. You know what I mean? So that's an advantage in itself. And the fact that you throw on top of there the opportunity for us to start our own business in the South and get support from people who live in the South for your business that is kind of difficult to get up north. It's not because people up north don't want to support the black businesses. It's the fact that cost of living up north is so damn high. I have to go spend my disposable cash at the discount big chain corporate store because they cheaper. It ain't that I don't want to show you no love. It's just that I can't afford you because my light bill is high as hell, even though we got Niagara Mohawk supplying damn near all of the electricity for the East Coast. You'd think any place up north, New York, Pennsylvania, would be getting a fucking deal on that, but no. Highest rate in the country is being spent right here in New York State for electricity. Natural gas, New York State was supposed to have been the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. They fracking their ass off in New York State. Got some places, rural areas in New York where good white folks live. Their water is flammable. Showed it on the news. Filled up a glass of water, took a lighter, put it to it, poof. Flammable water from fracking. Now, alternative to fracking, I would say we start harvesting hemp, convert that over into ethanol, and then convert that over into a gas. But that's just me. But that's just some of the things that's taking place up north that doesn't make it a great place to stay. Then you throw the long winter months in there. Man, I'm telling you, $300-400 gas bill every couple of months will put a dent in your disposable cash. It really will. If you a working person, you ain't on stage dancing and singing or running up and down the field or a court making big money or sitting in the office somewhere trading pieces of paper all day to make big money, and you just a regular working person, firefighter, police officer, nurse, construction worker, bus driver, garbage man, $300 a month for your gas will put a dent in your wallet. And y'all know it. Y'all know I ain't lying on that one. So that's an advantage that we have migrating from the north. to the south, lower utility costs. You ain't got to spend so much on that gas bill if it ain't cold. And with the advancements in solar electricity, you might not have an electric bill either, so you might not have to worry, because I know a lot of people say, well, it's so hot down there, you'll be running the air conditioner all the time. That depends on your house and you. Most of the homes down there are made out of brick, which tends to reflect a lot of the outside heat, and at the same time, in the wintertime, holds in a lot of the heat, well, at least the colder months, and hold the heat inside. So that's an advantage that you will have compared to these, I don't know what the hell you want to call these rotted wood shacks they got up here that they call homes, because most of these joints is rotted. They filled with lead paint, asbestos, and all kind of other toxic shit. It's bad enough that the water tastes so disgusting. And if anybody in the South has come up north, drank northern water, y'all go back with the same mentality. Damn, they got some nasty tasting water up there. And we do. I lived in the north, lived in the south. I can tell you there is a very big difference in the quality and taste of water. Shit up here sucks. Shit down there tastes kind of good. Got to look at where it's coming from. And that's another advantage. Healthier living, cleaner air. When you living in an area where you got more trees than you got cars, more oxygen produces better health. That's why all those black folks down there look so damn good at such older ages. 40, 50 years old, still look like they in their early 30s, late 20s. Come up here, you be 30, 40 years old, look like you in your early 50s, early 60s. Pollution, bad air. Quality of air is very important. Indoor air is even more important. And up north, there is a lot of poor quality indoor air that is concentrated by the poor quality outdoor air because of lack of vegetation. Now, another advantage, now that's just on the health level, the political level, with more black people migrating from the north to the south, return to them southern states that we left, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas. If we remigrate back to those states, become the bigger population in just those states, then we would have a better chance of controlling the Electoral College that we would have to be taken seriously on every presidential election. We would have more senators representing the African American community in the government. We would have more Congress people of color representing us in the halls of Congress. And any president, Republican or Democrat, will have to come to us with respect and actually do what they say they gonna do for us, and not just tell us what we want to hear, then get up there in the office and then start making up a whole lot of bullshit ass back deals and little sneaky compromises that you didn't bother to mention to us until after it's done, and then say, well, we had to compromise. We had to negotiate. The other side wouldn't let us do it. That's all bullshit so they can stay in the power. We need to start putting a check on their power. And one way we can check political power is to become a significant political voting bloc in this country. And the best way we can do that is the mass migration of blacks, Hispanics, Asians, and even our Arab brothers from the north to the south. And don't forget our Native American brothers and sisters. They need to come with us. Of course, they already down there. And they already up here too, because all this shit belongs to them, you know, it was stolen. So since the government is not going to give it back to them, we should at least be able to share and work and live in harmony with one another. It's enough here for all of us. Now, that's just my thought on a mass migration from the north to the south. Go check out black mass migration from the north to the south. And there's really intelligent people who can put this in so much better perspective and break it down on the economical, on the social, just human level.